take projection.
Well, welcome everybody to Taking On Sports. I am TD. That is Greg, and I just realized, Greg, I just saw your sweater on the camera too.
Yeah.
Got that. What's his damn name from Christmas Story?
Ralphie.
Ralphie. That's it.
Yeah.
It was in,
Yeah.
in the bunny suit.
And
I
the
like it.
bunny
How you
suit.
doing though, Greg?
I'm pretty good there. Kind of a little disappointed in the ending of the AFC Championship game. I think a lot of us were hoping Buffalo might pull through, but
But what can you do? Yeah, that's a good place as any to start.
yeah.
Of course,
But
NFC or conference championship weekend in the
mhm,
NFL. Conference
yeah,
championship Sunday.
yeah,
Literally just a few minutes right before we started
right.
recording this, the Chiefs, they are going back to the Super Bowl looking for their
And
third straight Super Bowl win. Greg, what you think about this game?
it just came down to what it normally does. The Chiefs always have one or two more plays than the other team late. It seems like that's the theme for the last umpteen AFC Championship games.
Yeah,
They're
right.
just a little more clutch, get couple more plays, a key stop.
hmm
Um, and they
Just
just
a key conversion.
yeah,
Run the clock
yeah. The
out.
third, what was it? Third at that point, and it was either second. I think it may have been second, but I mean they still had plenty. They still had the timeouts, and it was like 2nd and 7, and just a simple little dump pass, and just wide open there. So I mean, the Chiefs always find ways to um win. Josh Allen, pretty heroic performance. A lot of big plays himself there, but it's just And I think the biggest thing though continues to be that Kansas City defense. Man, when it comes time,
hmm
when the
hmm
game's on the line, they come through.
Yeah, you mentioned it right before we started recording. That blitz that Spags dialed
Man,
up
on that fourth
on
down,
that Chiefs play.
epic.
Yeah, that corner blitz, well disguised,
Yeah.
came in untouched.
Oof.
And still, though, I mean, heck of a play by Allen to extend it and chuck
Toss it
that
up.
ball. And
Kincaid
Kincaid
was there. He was there.
he had a better shot than I thought he did at first. I
Yeah.
was like, that like one hop to him, and then
Then
you
it
see
was
the
actually
replay;
right
it was in
there.
his hands.
Man.
Yeah,
Which would have
I
been
think he
crazy.
probably, I
I
think
think
maybe he saw it late. Is
yeah.
that yeah,
I think if anything, he was shocked as hell the ball was there.
yeah.
It's one of those, oh shit, the ball's here. I don't think he expected it to get there,
Yeah,
but
and a
yeah.
tough stat right now on Sports Center: most wins in a 6-season span without a Super Bowl appearance. The Buffalo Bills just set that record with 78.
Jesus.
Uh,
That's
and
just something you don't
my,
want the award for.
my, yeah, right. My Ravens in second with 71 right there. So good for the Bills. At least, yeah, at least they make my Ravens look a little better.
Now, at least you guys have experienced a Super Bowl win. At least, I mean,
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
they've had all the three losses in the '90s and all these close chances, always against the
4
Chiefs.
losses in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true. Four losses in
that's
the
true.
'90s, and then all these close encounters with the Chiefs. It seemed like year after year, it always
Mm-hmm.
at some point either in the divisionals or the championship game, always find a way to lose late against the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's real tough, and it's you feel sorry for Bills fans. Uh,
They're
Talk about a
great.
tortured franchise, man.
They're
Your
great
your
fans.
greatest ever player for a while. Your greatest ever player, O.J. Simpson, became a murderer and
Yeah.
alleged. And
Hmm.
so that ruins that. And then you get the '90s Bills, which young folks today, people who weren't watching football back then, don't realize how good those Bills teams were.
They
They
were.
weren't
I mean, Jim Kelly was
hapless.
phenomenal. Bruce
Ooh,
Smith. I mean, Andre
hmm
Reed, Thurman Thomas. I mean,
great teams all
great,
around.
fantastic team. And it's
Kind of that
just
a revolutionary offense. They were one of the first no huddle teams,
absolutely.
really to do that, especially in the pros.
And they were just. I mean, and you got to think about it. I mean, they came really close against the first time against the Giants. They
hmm
missed the field goal.
Should have beaten them. Yeah,
Redskins. I mean,
just ran into a buzzsaw
and then the
of a team.
And then they
Yeah,
ran into the Cowboys twice. And I mean,
yeah. Then
the Cowboys wouldn't have lost to anybody in those 2 years, honestly.
No, yeah, it's just tough luck for them when
Yeah,
they got to the Super Bowl. It's like they absolutely should have beat
the
the
Giants.
Giants. They
Yeah,
were playing the backup quarterback. They got him. They
yeah.
had the field goal, 47-yarder to win it. Of course,
Yeah.
Scott Norwood, famous miss.
Now to
That
be to
next year,
be
that
fair though, Jeff
oh, go ahead.
Hostetler was a decent backup quarterback.
Oh yeah. I mean that's a hell of a backup that you can lean on. And
Yeah,
then Otis Anderson, great running back.
yeah.
Uh, you know, Lawrence Taylor on the
Dynamic
outside.
defense.
Still, yeah, great
I mean, you
defense.
gotta
Yeah,
think who was all on that staff. I mean, they had what Bill Parcells on that staff. Like Bill Belichick
yeah.
was
He
on
he
that
was head.
staff. I mean, they're
He would have been
phenomenal.
head coach, right? Bill Parcells was coach of that
Yeah.
Giants team, right? And yeah,
When
or Belichick would have been on his defensive staff.
good God.
Yeah, and then yeah, just a great team. So yeah,
Yeah,
not taking anything, but the Bills had them,
yeah, we should
and
have
they
won that
missed
one.
it. Then they run into that Washington team, Mark Rippon. We've talked about them.
Yeah,
Ernest Biner, Art Monk. That's just
it's phenomenal.
Daryl Green on the defensive side. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a buzzsaw. And then yeah, the Cowboys dynasty, like you said, they weren't getting beat. Um, no matter what, the blowout in Pasadena, and then
Mm-hmm.
the
A little
game in
closer,
Georgia.
and a little closer.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, technically, the Bills were up 13-6 at the halftime in
mm,
28, and then it was 30-13 was the final. So just got shut out in the second half.
yeah, tough beat for
Yeah.
them there. But uh, yeah. So another tough game. They had their chances. Really no. We talked about maybe a questionable spot on that fourth down where Allen's
Yeah.
snuck it, and after the review, they said he was short, and they even Romo called it out in the replay where they showed the linesman from one side
Hmm.
of the field was running in, and where he
Way
was
different
spotting it was
spot.
first down. Yeah, and then the linesman on the other side was short, and that's just another. I'm not going to go conspiracy
Yeah.
theory here, but if you are one of those
No, you're
conspiracy
going
theories, then
crazy.
there's
You're going crazy
yeah.
right now.
But
Now, to
to
be
me, that's
fair,
just another case. Hold on, real quick. Just to me, that's another case of why don't we use we know we have technology to put chips in the ball
oh
and
yeah,
to tell exactly where it is. It's
hmm
it's ridiculous that we're relying on these guys to do this.
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. What were you about to say?
No, what I was saying, to be fair, I mean, even if they do get that, I mean, they still got to go down the field, getting the,
Yeah,
still
yeah,
got
yeah.
to, score, a field goal to tie, and to go to overtime, hope possibly, or even. So I mean, still a lot of football to be played, even if they do get that call right there.
Hmm.
I really thought the fourth down they got before that I thought that was a game changer when Josh Allen flipped over the top. Pretty much, I thought, man, the Bills
Hmm.
might be on their way to victory, and then they kind of had the four
Yeah,
plays in a row.
yeah. It
I thought
kind of
that was a
seemed like
game
maybe
changer.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they had this was it. They finally had the
Hmm.
mojo or whatever. But
Yeah.
uh, not to be
Um,
again. Poor Bills fans, but hey, man, dynasties. There's a reason that the Chiefs are the kings right now
yeah.
because
They-
they're that good. Um, but yeah, tough to great effort. It was a
yeah.
great game, real
Great
fun to
game. Lived up to
watch.
the hype as always. But
Um, I was wondering if those two, points that the what's her face the Bills dropped. They went for two
yeah,
twice and missed
yeah,
both times. That would have made a different game. If they just kicked the
absolutely.
extra points right now, that's they're still 1 point shy. So
Yeah.
who knows?
So who
Maybe it
knows
doesn't
how?
make a difference. Yeah, but
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But yes, all these analytics. Everybody's like, well, in this situation, you go for two, and like sometimes you just get the automatic points. I mean,
hmm
especially if not necessarily it's going to make a difference. I mean, you got whether
yeah,
you I don't know. Sometimes you just do what's automatic and get those points while you can. But
yeah,
kudos to the Chiefs. I mean, they came through in the clutch when there was a big play to be had. I mean, that last where they kicked the field goal. I mean, Mahomes took them right up the field for the field goal, and despite and what is it, Buckner's never missed a field goal in the playoffs in the fourth quarter or something. So I mean, he's clutch.
yeah,
I mean, it was pretty elementary kick, but it's been some spotty kicking at times this season, so you never know. But they just come out and do what they do, and Again, we'll see them. And the crazy thing is, despite them, there's three, that are going for the third straight. But man, they've been in so many Super Bowls in the last since 2019 season. I mean, they've been in a boatload of Super Bowls.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a true dynasty. Yeah, not even counting the wins. They got
Yeah.
the first win over the Niners,
Niners, and then they got
uh,
beaten by
lost to
the
the Bucks.
Bucks.
Yeah, and
They came
then
back,
got their
and then what did they beat the Eagles?
and then
Beat
the
the Niners.
Niners again last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean,
that's
they just been to Super Bowl so much, and even before that,
four of the last six Super Bowls.
yeah. And even
Yeah,
then, when they, before that, they were making it. What a couple of they were right on the cusp of it right before when Brady beat them, to go to the Super Bowl, last second thing, one of his last times. So I mean, it's just crazy.
yeah. That tough. What was it? The offsides call, or
Yeah,
your guy jumped offsides.
yeah. So I mean,
In
they,
Kansas City there. Yeah.
yeah, it's just amazing. Andy Reid is just, completely changed his whole persona. I mean, this is a
Hmm.
guy who was supposedly could never win in Philly. Got a change of scenery and just completely changed his fortune in Kansas City.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. One, two, three, four. Yeah, they've played in four of the last five Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Is actually what it is. The only year they missed was that 2022, the
And they were
Rams
in
and
the
the
NFC
Bengals.
title game, and they could have, and it was them and the Bengals, and they were right
Yeah,
there. So
the Bengals got them. Yeah, and like you said, there was a year they were just shy of the Patriots that one year, which the football gods gave us the wrong Super Bowl that year, I think, because we had Mahomes as the up and comer that year, and so we could have had him versus the Rams and that high flying. They played that
yeah, that would
game
have been
that that
probably a high flying game.
yeah, that they played that Monday night game earlier in the year. I think
Yep.
the Rams won. That shootout. Of course, the Rams. You can't mention that NFC title game anywhere near Saints
Saints
fan.
fans, yeah, the passive.
Which for good reason. Good reason.
um,
Ew. But we also could have had, if still the Patriots, and we could have had that Patriots versus Saints, that Breeze versus Brady Super
yeah,
Bowl,
that
which
would have
would have
been
been cool
pretty.
too.
That would have been pretty epic.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we got a
But
13 to, what
yes,
was it, a 13-2 clunker?
13-3. Yeah,
And the clunker.
it's not
Yeah.
not good.
No.
But yeah, so Chiefs back in the game. They'll
Yeah.
have, of course, a great shot at winning next year, and just some, like we said, another great call by Spags.
Man,
Another
phenomenal.
great call by Andy Reid. That little
Yeah.
read option or that quarterback keeper
Yeah.
late that Mahomes scored the touchdown on, and they just keep doing it, man. They
Yeah.
just keep doing it.
They keep finding.
Uh, yeah, keep finding ways. Earlier in the day, not so much of a great game.
No. Philly took them to
The
school.
Eagles absolutely destroyed the Commanders.
Hmm.
What was the final score? 55-23,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it was just
A great run for Jaden Daniels in that
oh,
Commanders team.
absolutely.
If
I
you're
mean,
a fan of the Washington, you're
you're in good hands.
disappointed today, but you will look back on the season. You finally got a franchise quarterback. You are
Yeah.
clear of
On
Dan
the up and
Snyder,
up, it
and
looks
there's
like.
and there's news reports of him being
He was
pissed
mad.
off at how much success they're having now. So that's going to give you a little bit
Oh,
of
absolutely.
happiness to you. Oh
Say,
man,
bro,
yeah.
why would you even say that? That just sounds
All
ridiculous.
right,
Like, why
how
even
you
come out
let
and say that? Like, what are you
yeah
doing?
yeah you cannot let that come out. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Eagles deserve the shine there. Set a record
Man,
for rushing
rushing
touchdowns. Is it
touchdowns. Yeah.
in the NFC title? They have
Right.
six. Was it?
6 or 7.
Saquon had three.
Yeah.
Let's see. One, two,
I mean,
three,
what did he bust out the 75-yard
four,
run and what the first
five,
play of the game?
six. Yeah, seven. That was it. Yeah,
I mean,
seven
you kind of knew it was gonna be a
rushing
long day,
touchdowns.
and that's just crazy. And you knew it was gonna be a
Three
long
for.
day when
Mhm.
Barker had a 75-yard touch on the first play. So
Yeah,
wow.
right. Yeah, right.
Boom.
Ridiculous. Yeah, 60-yard right off the first touch after
Yeah.
an 18 play drive for the
Yeah.
Washington that only yielded a field goal.
Right.
But still, that was kind of the game plan they had to have, was keep the ball out of the Eagles' hands, but they
Yep.
couldn't. And 3 rushing touchdowns for Saquon, 3 for
Mm.
Jalen Hurts, 1 for
Mm.
Will Shipley late in the game after he almost had a long one. They let him
Yeah.
finish off the drive. Um,
This is
yeah,
crazy.
just too much, and that defense too tough for the Commanders too.
Yeah.
Was it 3
They
turnovers? I
forced
think
a
they
lot
ended
of
up with.
turnovers.
Yeah, they 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and 1 pick.
Mm.
Um, but like we said, yeah. So we got our matchup, a rematch a couple years ago.
Yeah. It was
Uh,
a heck of a game
it was,
a
and
couple years
fairly
ago.
kind of the same teams coming at it
Yeah.
too. Obviously Saquon's a big difference
Saquon's a
on the
big
Eagles
difference
side,
maker. Yeah.
and then the Chiefs defense is a lot better than
Oh, yeah, for
that
sure.
that last time around. So that'll be interesting. Of course, we'll look into that more in depth
Yeah.
next week. We'll give a proper preview for it. But yeah, that's our matchup. I know co-founder of the Alabama Take, Caleb Johnson. His time in Philly. He's an Eagles fan, so he's happy tonight. Might not be so much in 2 weeks when he realizes that they're playing the Chiefs and the refs, but we'll see.
We'll see how it
Yeah,
plays out.
I think those refs are going to be so closely watching that game because
You know,
anybody is they're going to
oh,
say,
everybody's
oh,
looking
what the
for it.
yeah,
Everybody's gonna
yeah,
looking
right.
for it because I mean, I think Kansas City. I think like the first time it was pretty cool because Kansas City's always been kind of that team that never got anywhere. But now a lot of people, if that's not your team, as usual, but
Hmm.
fans in general turn into haters and don't want to see this continue.
Yeah, right.
Especially,
That's it's the American way. You want to
yeah,
see the little guy get up and succeed, and then once he's on the mountaintop, you want to knock him off.
absolutely.
Uh,
So
but it was yeah, it should be. Yeah, I'm torn as a Ravens fan myself. On the one hand, there's the hated Chiefs, and oh man,
yeah,
they can't win again. On the other hand, you kind of want your guys to be the ones to knock them off. So
you're right.
you want them to win, and for the Ravens to get them again in the AFC playoffs next year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, and you kind of don't want uh, another quarterback to get one before Lamar. That was kind of
Hmm.
my thing today. I was telling my wife, she was asking me who I cared about, and I was like, I just kind of, as much as I would like to see Bills fans win one, I don't want Josh Allen to get one before
For
Lamar.
the mark. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because they're
but
kind of on that top level. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah,
same draft class and everything
yeah.
too. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Understandable.
yeah, it was a good day of football.
It was.
You got to see at least a lot of great plays in that Eagles game,
Yeah.
if it not for so much of a great game.
Right.
And then, of course, then we got to see another Chiefs Bills classic. Like you said, if they meet in the playoffs, it's guaranteed instant classic.
Yeah. For sure.
Um, which I want, just a quick side note. I know younger folks still use that term instant classic. I wonder if they know what it means, though.
Yeah. I don't
Because
know.
to our younger listeners, there
Hmm.
used to be a channel called ESPN Classic,
Oh yeah.
and it played all these old ass sports. Some of it was crazy. It used to
Yeah.
play like AWA wrestling and stuff, but
Yep.
you'd also get some classic bowls and classic football and basketball.
All types of
And then
stuff.
if a game was so good, it was on ESPN Classic like
Like.
that week,
Yep.
and so it became an instant classic.
Yeah.
Even the NCAA football games
Yeah.
incorporated it for a little while. You'd play one, you get your little score up there, like congratulations, it's instant
Yeah.
classic.
Awesome.
Uh, but yeah,
Bring that back.
yeah,
In the
I love
game.
it, man. Bring it back a lot. But yeah, that's unless you got anything else on the field NFL stuff, that
No,
does it for
I think
my
that
notes.
I think that's it.
We can move to off the field NFL stuff real quick.
Mm,
The coaching carousel
yeah,
has it's still got one spot, and
one
that's the
spot.
Saints have
I
filled their
don't
coach,
think
and I
they've
haven't
done
seen
it.
it. No, yeah.
I just saw their OC left to go. They just lost the coach. I know their offensive coordinator left.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, yeah. But yeah, so big news this week. Of course, Ben Johnson, the Lions OC to the Bears, division rival Bears.
I know that's got to sting a little bit for the Lions fans.
Yeah, and they
Would
lose
you be?
both of them because defensive
Um,
coordinator Aaron Glenn goes to the Jets.
but
Um,
yeah, to lose your guy to the division, woof, that's tough.
yeah, to a team, not only a rival, but a team with a young quarterback that he can
Mhm.
mold, and some talent on that roster there.
There's a lot of talent, and
Yeah,
yeah, I think if there's a guy that can mold Caleb, it's definitely him.
and yeah, people kind of forget they were rolling this year. That till that Hail Mary just
This killed their
unraveled
season.
that team.
I don't
Yeah.
know what it was, but yeah, it just completely decimated their confidence or season. Nothing worked after that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I mean, I think they gotta, at least the guy knows offense. I mean, he made Jared Goff look like a good quarterback, which I
Hmm.
mean, maybe we don't. I mean, sometimes you wonder how good Jared Goff is. I mean, he might be more of a system guy, maybe with Ben Johnson's system. So we'll see what he's able to do with Caleb. I mean, Caleb has some weapons, so if the Bears can ever get out of the quarterback curse, because they seem to have never found
Hmm.
a true franchise quarterback over all these. I mean, they've had great teams over the years, but yeah, never had anybody you're like, oh man, that's a franchise quarterback. That's always been their downfall. So
Yeah,
we'll see if they finally
yeah.
have it or not.
I mean, even when they won the Super Bowl, I mean, Jim McMahon was really only there in at a high level for a few
I
years.
mean, it was okay.
Yeah, he wasn't the reason they won that Super
No,
Bowl. Let's put it
absolutely
that
not.
way.
That defense.
Um,
I mean, they had what? I mean, probably the most consistent, probably Jay Cutler. I mean,
yeah,
to
I
be
mean, he was
honest,
consistently above average for
yeah,
a good number of years. Yeah, but not good enough to get him
no,
over the hump. Or he got to the Super
even
Bowl with Rex Grossman.
Rex Grossman, who was, I mean, fantastic in college at Florida, but yeah, I mean, he was in the NFL, and of course, that was again, that defense was phenomenal.
Yeah,
That go around as well.
yeah, you had defense and you had Devin Hester
Yeah,
returning
Devin
kicks,
Hester, one of the
and
most dynamic kick returners of all time. So yeah,
yeah, still to this day, it blows my mind that the Colts kicked to him in the opening
oh my
kickoff
goodness,
that
yeah,
and paid for it, but
yeah, and
didn't
that was
matter in
kind
the
of
end, I
it.
guess. Yeah, but yeah. So Coach Carroll, so we got those, and then we
Yep.
got Liam Corn, the Bucks offensive coordinator, to I think that's actually Cohen. I think
Yeah, I think it's Cohen.
uh, my notes auto corrected. The Bucks OC, he goes to the Jags. That was kind of a weird, contentious one. Apparently, the Jags thought that he was going to stay with them, and then he got felt disrespected by their offer or something. I don't know. It
Hmm.
was kind of a weird story, but he is, or the Bucks, excuse me, not the Jags.
Yeah.
And so now he is going to Jacksonville to take over. And then we got two surprises on kind of both ends of the spectrum. We'll save your team for
Yeah.
last here. The first one, Pete Carroll's back, and
Pete
he's in Las
Carroll.
Vegas
Yeah.
with the Raiders.
I didn't even know that
Uh,
was an option. Until I saw it, I was like, oh.
yeah, it's kind of weird because you kind of saw his name a little bit out there, but you're like, he's 73,
Yeah.
But they hired him, and all these articles. Oh, he's a young 73. He's still
He's
spry,
still
and
73. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
exactly. And he's still,
I mean, he's
those
still a
last few
football.
years in Seattle
Weren't great.
yeah, they
I
weren't
don't
terrible,
know.
but they also, you could kind of see it might have been a roster thing, more so than a coaching thing. But
But but now you're if that was a roster
mm,
was a problem. Now you're really in a problem. So
ooh, Kincaid was so close.
so
Uh,
close. But I
but
mean, yeah, we
yeah,
will see how that
that's.
plays out. I mean, honestly,
Hmm.
if I'm a Raiders fan, I'm like, why we got rid of um his name's blanking. I don't know. Uh,
Pierce.
Antonio Pierce. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm like we got rid of him because of why. But again, I mean, Pete Carroll definitely. I mean, he knows he's a legendary coach.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe he gets him in the right spot. Who knows? I mean, but I mean, if you look at the as far as coaches in the division, I mean, the AFC West is stacked with great coaches now. I mean, you got
Oh
Andy
yeah,
Reid. I
it's.
mean, you got Harbaugh. You got I mean, you got Pete Carroll, and then of course you got
Sean Payton.
Sean
Sean
Payton.
Payton in
So I mean,
Denver.
that's
Yeah.
a as far as head coaches. I mean, that's it doesn't get much better than that in one
Yeah. So
division.
that's three Super Bowl winners and a guy who's been to the Super Bowl and a national title winner.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, Pete Carroll, legendary coach, one of only three coaches to win a Super
and
Bowl
both
and a
levels.
national title.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, and like you said, we're really going to see how much he's got left in the tank with this
right.
roster because that's worst quarterback situation in the NFL.
Oof, yeah,
And they're not in a great, they don't have a top two pick. They got, I think, like the
no,
sixth pick in the draft. So unless
yeah.
they trade up, but even then, trading up for quarterback, you're going to have to give away a lot of assets that you
Yeah,
probably need to keep to
right. And
rebuild that roster.
honestly, I mean, and there's really, I mean, if you're in the top two spots, I get it. You take a quarterback, but do you really move up for anybody this year? I don't think you do.
No, I think best case scenario for them, they hope that Shador Sanders
Someone falls
fall,
to him.
falls or Cam Ward.
Absolutely.
It looks like Cam Ward's going to be the first pick. At
Yeah,
least that's right now. Of course, a lot of time
right.
left before the draft.
But absolutely. I mean, there's no way that you move up. I don't think for anybody in this draft because I don't see
No.
anybody that's
Mm-mm.
guaranteed to be. Hey, that's our franchise quarterback. So
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, you gotta like I said, you don't want to get rid of draft picks if you're a team
right.
like the
No,
Raiders.
absolutely.
You want to gain draft picks. That's why
Ab-
I know they've said that they're not going to, and I know fans probably don't. But guy like Max Crosby, man, he's going to get you such a great haul in a trade that you gotta think about it because you're doing a complete rebuild at this point.
Definitely got to entertain it.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you look at it too. I mean, technically, I mean, they got a quarterback on it who's still young himself. So and McConnell. So we'll see. If he's
Hmm.
any option at all. But I think you at least let him get a run for at least another year.
Hmm. Yeah. Then who knows? Maybe they get a veteran, somebody in the free agent market, or who knows? Maybe they like a
See, Russ,
maybe they draft a project like a Jalen Milrow in the second round or something. Who knows?
Pete mm, build him up. And of course, people are like, oh, maybe people are saying maybe Russell Wilson end up in Las Vegas as a coach, but who knows? But
Yeah, yeah. So that's a tough situation. But then the other coaching hire, the
he's
Cowboys promoted Brian Schottenheimer
mm,
to head coach. I'm just gonna clear out and let you play some high
boy,
softball.
boy, boy.
Take it.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, I don't we really don't. I don't know what the whole situation is because I mean, obviously at this point I mean, Schottenheimer, no, like obviously no one was interested in him as a head coach. I mean, he's been the
Mhm.
OC. He wasn't even calling the plays. I mean, it seems like it's just Jerry's guy, and he's not gonna put up too much of a fight against whatever they want to do. So, I mean, I get it from the Joneses, they're but for, geez, just a pick. You're like, my goodness, might as well kept Mike McCarthy. If this is what we're doing. Like, this is absolutely and utterly terrible. Like, and just
Yeah, it's
just the people that we brought in for the even the job thing. I mean, Kellen Moore. I mean, I disliked him as an OC. Didn't want him to come
mhm.
as a head coach. Suppose he was very interested, and then and then we brought in the Jets former coach. It's like, why?
Salah. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that was
I mean
really
that's a
weird. Yeah.
big win for the 49ers getting them back as their DC.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so good, that's huge for them because their defense has kind of fallen off since he's been gone. But man, I'm just like, dude, like obviously, coaching in Dallas is not a thing anymore. Like nobody cares. Like no one wants to be involved with the Joneses. Whether Jerry has a say in a lot of things is, up for your your own interpretation. But either way, he still says a lot after games. He has his own show that he says a lot of crazy stuff. The franchise is a mess. I mean, it's nothing to be excited about. I mean, obviously, we didn't go for any big names in the free agency this past season when it was supposed to be all in. But that was all in. My goodness. And of course, Dad gets hurt right away, and the season's pretty much shot from the get go. Um, now just continues, and then on top of that, I mean, it only gets worse as you have the Commanders getting good, and you see Eagles Commanders, NFC Championship game, and the guy that was just says, a guy that was just your defensive coordinator, took the Commanders to the NFC Championship game. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's like my goodness, we just can't get anything to go right, and it doesn't seem like anything's gonna go right. I mean, who knows? I mean, Schottenheimer's been an offensive coordinator a lot of spots, but I mean,
Hmm.
he's not. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, he's been in the
getting
league for
everywhere.
what 20 years now,
Seems
and
like,
he's
I mean,
never gotten a head coaching job
yeah,
before. So,
I don't think anybody's really considered him in a long time. I mean, I remember he even went to Georgia, was their OC, and like Mark Ricks last year.
hmm.
So I mean, he's been around, he knows football, but it's like, dude, like that's. I mean, why did we give him the opportunity? I mean, no one has been interested in him, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
and like you said, it's weird.
He wasn't even the play caller last year. It was Mike
Yeah, it
McCarthy.
wasn't a play caller, and what does he bring that's different schematically than
Who knows?
Mike McCarthy? Yeah, it's a very weird hire from a football standpoint, from an outsider standpoint.
Yeah, I don't think
Uh,
happy with it at all. Like it's just other than
yeah.
he's a it seems like just a yes man hire. If
Mm.
anything, like he's just gonna do whatever they ask him to do. So
Yeah, which yeah, so not generating a lot of excitement amongst the fan
not at
base.
all. I mean, it's just been we've one thing we do we draft well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'll say we draft pretty well. We don't do well when it comes to re-signing folks. We often resign the wrong people, let the wrong people go. We've the first time we signed Zeke for all that money, we probably should have let him go. We hit him with that 95 million, and then it's been other running backs we should have kept. We probably should have kept Amari. I don't know. I still don't know why Amari and why we let him go to Cleveland for basically nothing.
Yeah, that's still a tough one. You take away your quarterback's best target, and you're
Yeah,
a
I mean, we
throwing
could have had
team. Yeah.
Amari and CD on the same team. So I mean, that's definitely a 1-2 punch. That's you know. But anyway, and then you have Dak. I mean, we gave him the basically $250,000, $1 billion more or less. And well, what has that really gotten for us?
And apparently he's a big reason for the hire too. Apparently he lobbied hard for Schottenheimer, so he better
That's
have a hell of a year next year then.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I mean, hopefully, I mean, obviously. We gotta get a running back in the draft. I mean, Tolbert's
mhm.
okay, but I mean, obviously Zeke's done. He's off the team already. So I mean, we gotta get I mean, there's plenty of backs to get. So I mean, we should be good there. But it's
Yeah,
just man,
I've been seeing what's to say Ashton did Genty in like every mock draft I read. He's going to the
oh, yeah,
Cowboys.
yeah. Well,
Which
I
good hire, yeah.
couldn't be
If
mad at
that's
all. I mean,
yeah,
other than it's kind of but if you have the right first round draft pick with the running back, go ahead and do it. But it's not. It's kind of frowned upon, but I mean, it worked out well for the Lions with Jameer Gibbs. So,
yeah.
we'll
If
just
you
yeah, the
Yeah, if
right
you get the
guy.
right one into the right system,
Yeah,
and it
abs-
really if it unlocks your offense and great, but I
absolutely.
guess the question there is
Well, the Amati offense.
yeah, is that what you're missing? Is there
Yeah,
enough on
and
the
the other
line?
thing
This is
now is and hopefully it'll be interesting too. Hopefully he brings in an OC and lets that OC, whoever he brings in, lets him run the play calls. Because
Mhm.
as a new head coach, you got plenty enough to focus on. We don't need you trying to be offensive coordinator as well. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting
and
what
then
we do with there. And we got
I was
the defensive coordinator, the Bears former coach Matt
Eberflus,
Eberflus,
Eberfloss,
defensive
yeah.
coordinator. I mean, I get. I mean, he's been a. I mean, as a defensive coordinator, I mean, it's solid. I would guess. I mean, couldn't be worse than what we were this past year, right? so,
Yeah.
so, but man,
And you will hope too that if he does bring you back to the playoffs, that Schottenheimer's got better luck than his dad, because
yeah,
Marty, poor guy,
Martin
he
always found a way to. Because I mean,
great
he was.
regular season coach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, he was the original guy in Kansas City who took the
Mm.
Chiefs to a lot of playoffs.
Yeah, at least one AFC title game I can remember when they had Montana and they lost to one of those Bills teams actually.
Yeah. And there was
Um,
that one crazy year when they lost to the Colts, when the Colts went on their run to the NFC title game, when Harbaugh was their
oh
quarterback.
yeah,
And
that kind of miracle run for
yeah,
the Colts. Yeah, uh,
they used to have epic defenses. What did they have? Like
Derek
Neil Smith, Derek Thomas,
Thomas. Yeah, who's there? They had a safety. Who was their safety for a while?
Carter. Dale Carter was a beast.
Yeah,
They had a Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye, and
Christian Okoye. Marcus
man,
Allen at the end of his
Marcus Allen
career,
was
he was
there.
solid there.
And
Yeah.
they had Joe Montana at the end of his. I
Mhm.
mean, they had some teams, but yeah, I mean, definitely a dude that. And he went on to San Diego. Was he? He was a coach whenever the Chargers when I think they won like 14-2 in the regular season and lost to the Patriots in the division round or something. I think he was a coach there.
Uh, yeah, let's see. He was definitely coaching San Diego for a while. I'm trying to remember if he was there when they had.
Was
He
he there
was a
with?
Chargers coach. So he was with the Chiefs. Well, we got to go back even further because it's not just them. He was the Browns coach from '84 to '88. You remember they had a couple of those just
Was he there with with the damn
the fumble.
the fun with the and then the Joe Montana? Excuse me, the John Elway Drive. Was he?
Yeah, he was there. He was there for both of those, the fumble and the drive.
Oh, this-
Just absolutely brutal. Yeah, and then goes to I believe he was there for the drive. At least I know for a fact he was there for the fumble. Yeah, he was there for both. And
oh,
then goes to the Chiefs. Like I said, they get Montana brings in the title game, and they just they run in. Montana gets injured in the second half of that one. Buffalo
yeah.
puts it away, and then they it's got a lot of great teams there, and they do great things. They
Coach in '06, San Diego Chargers 14-2 regular season. Got the
mhm,
home field advantage and lost to the Patriots in the
mhm.
AFC divisional round in
Yeah,
2006, his last season in the NFL. He had a
yeah,
5-13 playoff record all time,
mm, yeah, just rough.
but a phenomenal regular season coach.
Yeah, and by all accounts, very well respected and liked guy. So
Seemed like a decent
uh,
guy.
passed away a few years ago
Yeah,
now.
2011,
But
Alzheimer's. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what his son does there. I mean, I almost feel like he's been around as long as he has because of his name, more so
mhm.
than I don't know. But somebody says he's an inspirational guy, gives good speeches. We'll see how that plays into anything at all. But I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
we'll
anybody's
see.
super excited. But I figure if we don't have high expectations, then maybe it can only go up.
Yeah, of course, right now it's like we said, it's still the Saints are the only team right now with
No head coach.
an open position. Looks like Buffalo's Joe Brady pulled his name out of the
Yeah.
search yesterday. Hoping that Todd Munkin's nowhere near that. Need him for at least another year in Baltimore would be nice.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody want because the Saints should also their cap space is their cap situation is terrible.
It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah, they went a lot. They are still paying for that kind of win first, sell out to win in the end of the Breeze years and into the Sean Payton years, and they're still,
Yeah.
uh, seeing the repercussions of that. But yeah, so that does it for NFL this week. Monday night there was a national title game in college football.
It was.
Surprisingly, this late into January, but I'm not going to complain.
That
And
seems so long
we
ago
need,
now.
I know, right? It didn't. It wasn't a. I was actually one thing real quick before we talk about the game itself. So many people online bitching about it being on Monday night and all that.
It's always been on
It should
Monday
be
night.
on Saturday. And when has the national title, the big bowl games were never all on Saturdays because the
Mm.
NFL had that,
Yeah, and
unless
so
January 1st was on a Saturday, and even then, I think they would still um,
yeah, I mean,
yield to the NFL. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's no way that college football is going to go head to head with the NFL, other than
No,
if
yeah,
it were a
it's.
college football playoff in a regular season. But
I saw someone out there being like, "Oh, the college football people should really talk to Roger Goodell and see if they can work out something."
I
That man is
don't give a
not giving
shit.
up a prime time. Yeah, he don't give a shit about college football.
Dude, if he gave a shit, he wouldn't have had those. Like
Those
you knew for
meaningless regular season games on that one Saturday. Yeah,
but you knew for sure they didn't give a damn because not only did they go the head to head when the first 12-team playoff, they played like some big time games. I mean, what was it? Even though some of the games didn't end up being good games, what did they have?
Mhm.
Like
It was a Ravens
Ravens and
Steelers.
Texans or
Ravens Steelers.
Steelers.
Ravens Texans was Christmas Day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then they had like I mean they
it was
had like
Ravens Steelers, Texans Chiefs,
yeah
and then
like
yeah, like they were.
they put the biggest games of that week.
Mhm.
I swear they put the biggest games possible up against the college football playoff that
Mhm.
weekend.
Yeah, and then Christmas Day they take over the NBA's day on a Wednesday.
Yeah, so
Yeah, NFL doesn't play on a
they
Wednesday.
don't give a
Roger Goodell don't give
shit.
a fuck. Yeah,
He didn't give a shit about anything.
yeah,
Yeah, cause
Roger
those
Goodell does
yeah,
not
so
fucking care.
yeah, it was Chiefs, Texans, Ravens, Steelers. Yeah, where the game's going up against the college football playoff.
Yeah,
The
went up
earlier
against
game.
what Penn State, SMU,
Yeah,
and
and was it Texas and Clemson?
Yeah, and then the nightcap that night was the only one that wasn't head
Yeah,
to head with the
The
NFL game.
Tennessee Ohio State was by itself. I mean,
That's
they
right.
could
Yeah,
have put. I mean, they could easily put like Panthers, Cardinals, Colts, Titans. Any
yeah.
Rams, Jets that weekend. They could have put those on Saturday, but no, they put the heavy hitters up against the college football playoffs. So Roger gives a shit about that.
Yeah, so you think Roger Goodell's really gonna
No,
be like, hey, yeah, sure,
absolutely,
I'll let you guys have prime time on this Saturday and instead of my
absolutely
playoff games? Yeah,
not.
fuck that.
No, and yeah. So I mean, I mean, we used to have this when we've had in the past when we've had national championship games on Wednesdays, Thursday, all every day. We've had Friday
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
And
When the like I said, when the BCS title game or was the
it
championship
was
or
all
the
over the
or just
place.
just when it was the bowls, January 1st was always a big day. So whatever day of the week
Yeah,
January 1st fell on, that was the
yeah.
day.
We've had a lot of weird days for national title
So
games
yeah,
over the
that
years.
just seems like a weird thing for people to harp on all of a sudden when
Yeah.
it's never been that way. But
Mm.
as for the game itself, a solid game, not an instant classic, but not a
I
blowout
mean,
either.
it was on the verge of that when they got to
It,
31-3. I was like, oh,
it was, but Notre Dame kind of fought back
not bad.
and then had a chance.
Oh,
They got within a score,
they got
right?
the
And they
eight.
could just yeah, they got to 8 and got them into a third and long, and then decided to zero blitz and leave Jeremiah Smith 1-on-1, and they paid for that.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
Ohio State was able to run off some more clock, and by the
yeah.
time Notre Dame got the ball back, it was
It
not
was
enough time to
done. Yeah.
yeah. And then I guess they
Yeah.
kicked the field goal too, right? So
Right.
they didn't even it was
Right.
yeah
So they ended up getting a cover at the end,
yeah
which
great teams covered.
depending on how you play the national title game.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ohio State, hey, look at me. I predicted them before the season to win the
Yeah, you
title. Actually
did.
got something.
Got it right.
And what a turnaround for Ryan Day and
Yeah.
his team after that Michigan game, man. It was,
And everybody had them
DEFCON
dead in
one.
the
Yeah.
water. They were
Oh
done.
yeah.
And then they went on an epic run. I mean, just a phenomenal. I mean, just the path to victory. I mean, it's crazy. I
Hmm.
mean, you play a good Tennessee team at home, and then you go to the Rose Bowl and you blow out Oregon, and you play Texas, and then you play Notre Dame. I mean, that was a hell of a gauntlet. I mean, no matter
Yeah.
no matter what. I mean, but I mean that's how it's going to be going forward with national championships, no matter who it is, because I mean you're going to have to win in at least 3 or 4 games, depending if you get a bye or not. So it's going to
Hmm.
be a gauntlet. It's not going to be you just with the fourth team you only had to win two, and you know we've seen a lot of blowouts in the semifinals. So I mean it would just went. A lot easier format, so it'll be interesting to see how they going forward. But kudos to them.
Hmm.
They came came through in the clutch and got a lot of pressure off Ryan Day because man, the
Yeah,
Buckeye
that would have
fans
been.
are ridiculous. I
Yeah, if he had
saw this.
lost that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I saw this past week, and there's trash fans in every fan base, but the fact
Hmm.
that they were calling his house or texting
Hmm.
his wife and telling him that he should kill himself like his dad did, that is wild.
Yeah, that's y'all. Like, look, I love football just as
Stop
much as
it.
anybody, but that's nah, that ain't it,
That
man.
is wild that they
You
would even
need to
say that.
go outside, touch some grass, reevaluate things
Yeah, because it
if
is
that's where you are in
ridiculous.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, just
I
wild.
mean,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
but
passionate as anybody, but man, that would never even cross my mind.
no, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But yeah, a great turnaround for them. They, it's like they finally remember that they were the most talented team in the
yeah,
country and
pretty
played
much,
like it every game.
pretty much. Yeah, won a lot of
Offensive,
different ways, and
hmm and
interesting
now,
enough, though, is their defensive coordinator is now left to go to Penn State,
yeah, what a get for the Nittany Lions after losing Tom Allen
to
to
Clemson.
Clemson. As I would say,
And I
he
was just like,
bounce
that
out
was
somewhere.
strange. It's like, what's going on with these defensive coordinators? Like, man, you would have thought, like, I don't know, like, Penn State had an epic defense this past year. Uh,
Hmm.
And the fact that,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Clemson's a great situation as well, but man, it's like, dang, you were just in a great situation. What did Clemson, it's very lateral move from
Yeah, maybe even some people might consider it a
a
kind of a
downgrade.
downward move going to the from the Big Ten to the ACC there, but
Yeah,
maybe less pressure. Who knows? We don't
yeah.
know. Maybe Tom Allen just likes it better down there.
Maybe like Dabo. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he doesn't like James Franklin. Who knows? But
I
yeah,
mean,
either
that
way,
was
yeah,
huge.
good get for
Oh,
Penn
absolutely.
State to go out
Yeah, I
and
mean,
take
great,
a
great replacement. I mean, you couldn't have got a better
yeah.
replacement than Jim Knowles. I mean, if there was one part to the Buckeyes were under talked about it was that defensive side of the ball. I mean, they didn't give up
Hmm.
points for shit all season.
No, and that's one of those like kind of double win things because you get yourself a good coach, and then you also take one away from your biggest rival.
Rival,
Honestly,
absolutely.
yeah.
So we'll see what
So
Ohio State does with their defensive coordinator position, but I'm
yeah,
sure that
and
won't be a
interesting.
problem.
It'd be interesting all season for the Buckeyes too, heading into
Yeah,
next year. They unless just something comes up during spring portal, it looks like they're going to go in with a competition of young guys, including Julian Sayin,
yeah,
former Alabama commit,
yeah,
5-star QB guy. Obviously, he's got weapons to throw to.
yeah.
Uh,
Plethora of
so
talent.
imagine, yeah, that those Ohio State offenses, they just cock
Now,
the shotgun again and
now
reload, and
there are some people that were saying that what's the name is leaving as well, the offensive coordinator. But
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly rumors, but
Hmm.
some saying he was leaving. So I don't know
That's
how.
interesting. I wonder if he
Let's
would go
see.
get another head coaching job, or if he'd,
Yeah. I think it was
maybe.
offensive coordinator. I don't
Hmm.
know, but I saw that as a possibility. But I was like, why? When you got the talent around you in Columbus, I would say now is not the time to go anywhere. But that's just me.
Yeah, unless you just want to go take a head coaching gig somewhere,
Yeah,
but at this point, all those jobs are taken, and
yeah.
unless you're
Yeah.
going to the Saints, But his first NFL adventure wasn't that successful for old Chip.
No, I was in Philly and San Francisco. I remember when he first went to
Yeah,
Philly, everybody was excited. Oh my God, that's gonna be epic. Him and was he with Vic?
I don't know if he had Vic or if Vic might have been at the tail end, or in Pittsburgh, or one of his weird stops at the end of his career there. Um,
Yeah.
Wait, hold up here. But yeah, yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. But college season over. Congrats to the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Hopefully Bama fans. Hopefully we're at least back in the playoffs next year celebrating.
Yeah.
No
God,
real big news from on the Tide side of things.
I have a lot going on there.
This week, I've been told by some folks with some inside knowledge of the program that they are kind of waiting to see if Ryan Grubbs takes another NFL gig. So I guess maybe he's still in play as a
Oh,
possibility to reunite with Kalen DeBoer.
yeah. Because I kind of
I'm sure
thought,
that make
if we didn't get him right away, it was kind of dead. I haven't really heard anything since he
yeah,
got
but
fired from Seattle. But yeah, I guess a lot
yeah,
of
that's just like I said. That's
opportunity.
just what I hear. Guys with inside knowledge of the program, and they say that that's the play right now is that they're waiting to see if he takes another
Yes,
NFL gig, and then I
that'd
don't
be
know if that
interesting.
means they're waiting to offer him or if he has an offer and they're just waiting that out. I
Yeah.
don't know what that
Hmm.
means, but that's just
We
what I've
shall
been told.
see.
But
That'd be fun.
yeah, moving to the hardwood and the college thing, Alabama. Good week, an
Yep.
interesting week for the Tide
Right
Hoops.
there.
Of course, we got a good win over Vanderbilt early in the week.
Good
Vandy
one.
pushed us a little, but put them away in the second half.
Yep.
And then a good win yesterday versus LSU. A tough defensive game. They held us to 80 points, which
That's
man,
fun.
if you had told us that 80 would have been a low score when we were in school, man.
Man, we would have been
uh,
thrilled.
yeah, right.
We
But
had a lot of
the
confidence.
bigger story, yeah, yeah, the bigger story was that Mark Sears not a good first half, and then sat out the entire
God
second
damn.
half. Was shown on the bench with getting emotional, and Nate Oates didn't say much to it except that we played the guys we thought gave us the best chance to
That's
win
that's
in
so
the second
man.
half.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
uh, yeah, that's interesting. So I don't know if that means that maybe him and Sears got into it. Hopefully, they're not
Something.
covering up some injury or something.
Yeah.
That's the
But
bigger.
they said even on the broadcast it wasn't injury related.
Yeah, so
And Sears seemed possibly crying. About the 12-minute mark, it looked like he was crying, but I don't know. But
yeah,
I don't know what that
very.
says because I mean, very rarely do you see your superstar, even when they're struggling, get completely taken out of the game. Like,
Yeah, and you don't want it to be something where like he was not going along with the team plan, because that, like you said, that's your team leader right there. He's your superstar. You want him on the court, and you also
yeah,
don't want it to be like a lack of effort on defense. You don't want
yeah,
him to be a weak point in your defense to the point
right,
where you can't have him out there during crucial games in
yeah,
March
because
because
that's
you
I think
need
we're
him
good team.
offensively.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
no, Aiden Holloway did a hell of a job stepping in and kind of taking over the.
oh yeah, absolute great game. I'll
This
tell
is
you
like
that
4 out of 5 games over 15 points. I mean, it's just he's
I
really
tell you right now, it is so great to see him really come into his own and
absolutely
kind of live up to his potential, particularly after every Auburn fan in the world, after he
said
transferred,
he
was
was
like,
so
"Oh,
terrible.
congratulations, he's a bust. Yeah, enjoy it." And
Well,
we
man,
have, we
we
we have
have
very
he's
much
been
enjoyed it. Yes.
absolutely everything and then some that we expected him to be. Honestly,
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I was like, hey, if he gives me 10 a game, I'm good. He's
Mhm.
been well. He's well above what I expected, and his first year in Tuscaloosa. I mean, he's last 4 or 5 games, been over 16, 15
Mhm.
points. He's scoring. I mean, he's playing good defense. Energy's phenomenal. I,
Yeah.
and then Mo Diabate, man.
Oh man, what a game from OD, man.
Hmm.
Uh, Talk about blue collar basketball right there, man. He's uh,
Phenomenal.
hitting it hard. And the best thing is, we're doing this. We got Reed was out injured. We're doing this
Hmm.
without some guys.
Yeah,
So it's just, again, we talk about a lot, but this team is so deep, and that's
absolutely.
going to be so crucial when we get to March and try to make a
Yeah,
run at another Final Four and a national title. So,
yeah.
also love the uniforms,
Oh yeah,
uh,
man.
the
That
throwbacks. Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Really.
anything with the old school logo on it, I
Yeah.
will take my money, man.
Oh, absolutely. Those jerseys were phenomenal.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, uh,
absolutely. Loved them.
but yeah. So now we got another. There's no off weeks in the SEC. This is about
Yeah,
as easy as
we're
a
going
week as
to.
Alabama's going to see this week. This past week,
We got a tough
we
one
go.
coming up Wednesday night.
Yeah, go
Going to
to the hump.
Starkville.
Yeah, Starkville. Our at times our biggest rival in basketball. Certainly when we
Yeah,
were in school,
we
that was the
definitely
big
had
one.
some. We
Yeah,
definitely had some good
mm,
games in our tenure there against the
yeah.
Bulldogs. And
Had a heartbreaking game where they, hit a buzzer beater to send it to overtime, then beat us, and we had a bad turnover late in
who was
overtime,
our
and
who was our coach back then?
it was
Stan?
still Godfrey. Oh,
No,
their
the
coach. Oh,
Mississippi
it's Rick
State.
Stansbury. Yeah,
Yeah,
Stansbury. It was that
and
Godfrey and
Sandberry.
Stansbury legit did not like each other.
No,
Uh,
they had a heck of a battle.
yeah, and there's the infamous game. We'll remember it for as long as we can remember things. But we doubled them up in Coleman, beat them
Hmm.
like 91-45, something like
Oh
that,
yeah, absolutely.
and had the starters in to like
Mhm.
under a minute. Like it
Yeah.
was not
No.
it was not like we pulled the starters and the backups played well and kept
Yeah.
it going. No, we kept the
No.
starters in as a big fuck
So
you.
as a message,
Yeah, it was that
absolutely did
one,
not.
and then the Jason Reese dunk on Auburn that was like the
Oh,
biggest.
that was epic.
That was the loudest I think I remember that arena being for
Oh, it
basketball in
was
our time there.
hype.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Uh,
hype.
but yeah, so this week, yeah, we go to state, Starkville, and then next Saturday, Georgia comes to Tuscaloosa. Georgia's cooled off a little after a hot start to the season, but
Like six in a row, I think. But
yeah,
still,
it's tough,
yeah,
tough start to SEC play for them. But
yeah, but winnable week. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to come ready to go Wednesday because man, the hump is not. It's a tough spot.
yeah, and then yeah, and then just a good week in college basketball in general.
Oh,
Houston, Kansas played a double
Houston.
overtime game.
Yeah, classic.
Auburn and Tennessee finished up a really good game right after ours finished last
Yeah,
night.
super
Uh,
ugly.
Super ugly, and they found a way to win, man. You got to begrudgingly give them credit.
Yeah.
Uh, but it looked like Tennessee had them late, and Auburn just made the
Mm.
plays, and they're the win. Vanderbilt, another upset. They got Kentucky this time, and
Beat
find
Kentucky.
another $500,000 for a court storming.
This is having a
They
hell of a year, and just the upsets in Nashville this year. And
yeah, they, they are yeah, paying some money out. But yeah, it's college football is really getting into high gear right now, or college basketball, excuse me.
absolutely.
Really, some really fun games over on the
Get
women's
another one
side.
on Tuesday. Kentucky, Tennessee. That'll be a
Oh, yeah,
good one.
there you go.
Oh yeah, but that
Um,
women's game Friday, epic.
oh yeah, LSU, South Carolina.
LSU. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. I
uh,
it's I don't know why was it on so early at 4 o'clock. Like
yeah, I don't know.
I
They do
guess
some
it
weird
kind of
things
got
with
its own time, but man,
they
I
do
was
some
like,
weird
that's
things
too.
with women's sports, man. They do that like when the WNBA finals are going against like NFL games. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
But I'm saying, man, they could have put that game in prime time and it's beating anything because that's gonna get
Yeah,
ratings. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
beating the.
I
I'm sorry, that's beating the NBA. And I get it, Friday's NBA on, but 4 o'clock, like it's just hard. People at work. It's not the best time. Um, for such a big game, like it just seems disrespectful to have it at that time period to me. But
mm-hmm.
it was a heck of a game there. I mean, Don Staley, what is that? seven in a row over LSU, and man,
Mm.
but they just closed out strong, and that I'm sure we'll see that, somewhere down the road again. Um,
Yeah, and an unfortunate week end for our Crimson Tide gals. They were upset by Vanderbilt
I
today.
see Andy today.
Yeah. Then they go to Kentucky to play a ranked Wildcat team on Thursday. It looks like.
So they can bounce back.
Yeah, hopefully,
Yeah,
still a good
man,
start to the year. Kind of a rough start to SEC
Vanderbilt's
play. Four and
Vanderbilt's all
three to start SEC. Yeah,
right. I mean, Vanderbilt's not a terrible team, but then I mean, you got to look who we lost to. I mean, we lost. I mean, we
mm,
lost to Texas. We lost to South Carolina. Would love
yeah,
to beat Vanderbilt, especially being a home game. So we'll see how they bounce back against the likes
yeah. It's
of
just about bouncing back, winning the games you should
yeah,
win, and knocking off one of these ranked teams. Probably
yeah,
still, at this point, 17-4, probably a tournament team, barring a
absolutely. Unless a
big
complete
collapse. Yeah,
yeah, outside of absolute collapse, and definitely a team that should definitely be around. When it matters there.
yeah. Hopefully, you can get to the second weekend this
Yeah,
year. Um, Depend on that, but that's a little bit away. Let's see. Moving to the pro game. Still no major news, and as far as trades go,
other
the
other than Jimmy
the other
Butler said he does not want to go to Memphis.
yeah, he said that was the only place that wasn't on his list, which is just ridiculous. He got traded,
uh,
or excuse me, traded suspended again.
um,
Uh, two more games, so yeah, that's just
not gonna end well.
yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah,
As we get closer and closer to trade deadline here, and that's that's I think things might get a little bit crazy this year, but we'll see.
yeah,
Other than that, Vince Carter had his number retired by the Nets earlier
yeah.
this week.
All that.
That's always awesome. Uh, the Pelicans keep winning games for some damn reason.
Uh,
This point, I'm like, y'all, what are we doing here, man? Like,
what are we doing? Yeah,
I mean, unless like I said, they would have to play unbelievable ball to get to
be
the
back
damn.
to the
Yeah, although they
playing.
have actually lost two in a row now, so
Yeah,
uh, who knows? Maybe we're getting back to
back to what you need
good
to be at
good
to
tank
get.
mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but speaking of teams that are just interesting in trade deadline, who the hell knows where they're going to go?
Right.
Big trade. Speaking of trades, WNBA had a
Yeah, big one.
blockbuster today. Oh, I had it pulled up and now I've lost it. Let me find it again here. A three-team blockbuster deal. Kelsey Plum, Jewel Lloyd are of course the big pieces of it here. Let me see if I can get the
Palm going to the Sparks.
yeah. Uh, yeah, out of Las Vegas to the Sparks. Huge trade. Probably one of the bigger in WNBA history, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
Lloyd goes to Vegas.
yeah,
Kelsey Plum to the Sparks. Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, it's just absolutely. Trying to, it's not. I'm trying to get the exact details of it here, and it's just not wanting to load this
So
page
I
for me
got it
here.
up. So the Aces got
There you
Jewel
go.
Lloyd and the number 13 pick in the 25 draft. The Sparks get the Kelsey Plum, the number 9 pick in the 25 draft, the 26 second rounder. And the Storm get the number 2 pick in the 25 draft from LA. And then Lee Yinu in the 26 first round from Las Vegas. So the Storm got a lot of picks,
Mm,
second, 2 first round picks this year and next. And then the Aces and Sparks get great talent there. So that'll be
yeah,
interesting.
that's a crazy one. And another bigger news earlier in the week. Brittany Griner is going to test the free agency market.
Hmm.
First time she'll ever be. She has
Right.
been in Phoenix her whole 11-year career.
And that'll
Um,
be interesting. See what.
yeah, so that's Yeah, that is huge. Yeah, you don't like I said, you don't usually see that in
You don't
WNBA.
see a lot of, yeah, really don't see a lot of big time trades in the WNBA. So it's a little
Hmm.
different, good time for it there. I mean, the Sparks, I mean, man, they got they have the young, can't even think of her name, who they drafted, and she got hurt early from Stanford um,
Yeah.
last year in the
Tall
draft.
tall
Yeah,
girl, right?
yeah.
What
The
is her
boy,
damn name?
man, I can't think of her name,
I can
but
see her
it's
face right now. I can
her
see
and
the damn
Kelsey.
commercial she's in too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her and Kelsey Plum. I mean, that'll be a good thing, but you know, um,
Yeah, it's a great 1-2 punch right there.
but Las Vegas, I mean, still, I mean, they hit Lloyd to go with Aja Wilson, and
Hmm.
I mean, that's still the team. I would say the team to beat. Still, overall the Aces. Um,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's see other sports news this week. The Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame class was revealed. Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner into it.
yeah,
Um, I
I
have
would.
no. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's a great class. I would
Yeah.
like to know who was the person who made it so
Mm.
Ichiro wasn't a
Right.
who thought Ichiro should not get into the Hall of Fame. Like
He wants to
what?
know too. He said he just wants to have a beer with the man.
Yeah,
That's look. You can say
stop
what you
it.
will. We're both former journalism school guys. So, we have a certain respect for the profession, all that, but I have no qualms in saying that baseball writers in particular, every sports, all sports writers, every sport,
There's so
they can
many
kind of, can be a
pennies.
little bit of like, shit don't stink, a little full of themselves, but baseball
Yeah.
writers in particular have this holier
Oh,
than
the
thou bullshit
worst.
thing. You see it when they talk about, guys like Barry Bonds and that steroid area, and now they
Oh,
look
that's on
down upon them
time.
when during the time they were the ones, Barry
Hyping
Bonds,
them
Sammy
up.
Sosa saving baseball,
Yeah.
yeah. And now they
McGuire.
don't want
Yeah.
shit to do with them, yeah.
Yeah. It's like stop it. The double
So I,
standard is ridiculous.
I
But
I'm thinking that this is some rogue writer who with some
yeah.
bullshit opinion, like, well, he didn't play his entire career in the majors league. He played
Yeah.
9 seasons in Japan. So,
Yeah.
fuck off. Um,
Ichiro was phenomenal.
yeah,
He hit.
my yeah, he's a
I
one of a
can't
kind
even think
guy.
of a time when he could struck out.
No, yeah, he's one of those guys that was just so good, and then he's one of those guys when you read other players talking about him, like I forget who it was, and I wish I could remember, but he was talking. It might have been a pitcher or a teammate, I can't remember, but they were like, Ichiro could be a 50 home run guy if he wanted to be,
Yeah.
but he knows his job, he knows what he is as a baseball
Hmm.
player, and so he's
Yeah.
and he's that good. Um, he could have been a pitcher if he wanted to be.
Yeah.
His arm, that
Phenomenal.
he had a cannon.
Hmm.
Of course, as a Braves fan, my biggest problem with this damn class is how Andrew Jones keeps getting snubbed.
Right?
Um, he's running out of. I think he's maybe got 2 left, but
Like, what are they
and
doing? What
this
is
is
going
again,
on?
this is this dumb baseball writer thing where they put so much emphasis on when you get into the hall, like, oh, you're not ready yet. What the fuck does it
What?
matter if you go in the first eligible year or what? Like,
Or let him in? Like, what? What? I mean, that run
he's
in
the
Atlanta was one of a kind. Like,
he's the best defensive center fielder of our generation,
absolutely.
hands down, and he's arguably the best fielding center fielder ever. Like, it's him
Yeah.
and Willie Mays in that discussion, and
Right.
that's it. Those are the only 2 guys that can be
Absolutely.
debated for best fielding center fielder of all time. And Andrew Jones made things look so easy in his time in Atlanta. Like,
Hmm.
he doesn't have a like a. It's funny because you look at his highlight reel. He obviously has great diving catches and
Right.
up robbing people against the wall and all that.
Hmm.
But his thing was his anticipation and the ground he covered in center. He made that look so easy when some of the catches he was making were not. He covered
Ridiculous. Yeah.
50 yards in 3 seconds, and it made it look like a
Floating.
routine flying ball. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it, add in that he was a 50 home run
Great
hitter
hitter.
one year.
Yeah.
Yeah, good power hitter. I think still the youngest guy to ever hit a home run in the World Series, had a 2 home run game in Yankee Stadium when he was
Hmm.
17 years old, man,
Yeah.
or 18 or something. But still crazy. too young to be having a 2 home run game in the
Right?
World Series in Yankee
Yeah.
Stadium. Uh,
Just shows you how great of a player it was. How that
yeah,
mindset to even be in. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know what we're doing here. You know,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. You know,
Just let the like. What's the point?
yeah. Other guys that barely missed it. Carlos Beltran. Uh, really, he was the only one. He had you need 75%. Carlos got 70. Andrew got 66. After that, it drops off all the way to about 40%. Chase
Uh,
Utley right there.
yeah.
Chase was a good player. I don't know if I think of him as a
I mean,
Hall of
I
Fame
don't think he's
player.
Hall of Fame. Heck of a
And then
solid career,
heck,
but yeah.
yeah, heck of a player, a great player. But he, to me, not quite. And then you got some couple steroid guys, Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez. Look, if you don't think they're Hall of Fame players, I don't care what they did.
They're Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, they're
They're
Hall of
Hall
Fame
of Fame players.
players. Your guy Andy
Absolutely.
Pettit, that's a Hall of Famer to me.
Yeah.
Uh, Felix Hernandez, he's an interesting one because he was so good there in Seattle for a
Yeah.
while, but was he good long enough? I don't know. It's a tough one.
It's questionable.
Yeah, and guys like Bobby Abreu, no. Jimmy Rollins, Omar Vizquel, he's an interesting case.
Jimmy had some
Uh,
great years though.
yeah, he
Just for,
did. Let's see, Dustin Pedroia, Mark Burrell, Francisco Rodriguez, okay, Rod.
they run. He had some good
David
years.
Wright, Torrey Hunter. I don't know if he had. I don't know if
Oof.
any of those other names.
Torrey
He
had
was
some
up
good
there.
years though. He was up
Hmm.
there for a while. I mean, he had
And
some great years
he
in Minnesota.
and he was up there in the discussion at his time for best fielding center fielder too. He was a great,
Yeah.
Spider Man, right? Uh,
Yeah. He was great in
mhm.
Minnesota. Phenomenal.
But yeah, so Ichiro joins the club uh, along with Derek Jeter as guys that were one vote away from a unanimous Hall of Fame selection. Only Mariano Rivera was he got 425 out of 425 votes.
Mhm.
Derek got 396 out of 397. Ichiro 393 out of 394. Uh,
That's just wild to me.
yeah, this whole list I'm reading it right now. None of these guys there should it be a question.
Yeah.
After Ichiro, next with 99.3%, 437 out of 440 votes, King Griffey Jr. What
Who
three
thought
people? Yeah,
Ken Griffey wasn't a unanimous Hall of Famer? Like what?
uh,
He could
with
have.
425 out of 430 votes, Tom Seaver again.
Oh my god.
Like, with 491 out of 497, Nolan Ryan. Who doesn't think Nolan
What?
Ryan's
Dude, he was literally legit in like three different cities, 3 or 4 different cities.
right? Man
He
was
was
throwing no hitters in his 40s.
he was knocking people out.
Yeah, whooping Robin Ventura's ass.
Dude,
And
I
then the
saw
last,
something like he threw like just as a guest guy came in and threw, and he's in what in his 60s, 70s now. He was still throwing like 85 just as a
oh,
guest pregame
really,
pitch. It was like an 85. I'm like, damn.
really. And that was probably with like no warm up, just went out there
Yeah,
and
you went out there. Yeah.
And then last on this list with 537 out of 545 votes, Cal Ripken Jr.
My
Again,
goodness.
who,
How?
what 8 guys are out there saying, nah, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
The thing with
Uh,
Cal was like there's supposed to be anybody you couldn't find anybody to say anything bad about Cal.
yeah, right. Well, no, that actually I can. My mother, but she has a. I went to a baseball camp when I was a kid. It was Cal Ripken's baseball camp, but he only showed up on the last day to talk to
Oh,
us for like 5 minutes, and we had
mm,
other Oriole players.
yeah,
So we were being taught by coaches and actual players, but not Cal
yeah.
Ripken. So my mom's held a
Mm.
grudge ever since.
Ever since
But
then, I paid
yeah,
money in Cal and shut up for 5 minutes.
pretty much, yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you not the obviously the games played, consecutive games played record, but also, I mean, Cal Ripken literally revolutionized the shortstop
He
position.
did. Yeah.
Before that, it was Ozzie Smith type guys, real small, not great hitters, good
Mhm.
fielders, obviously, but
Yeah.
Cal came in as a power hitter. Cal won a home run
Mhm.
derby one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. His average definitely dipped toward the end of his career, but he had
Yeah.
pop in that bat.
Yeah, he did.
I'm sure everyone remembers, his last All Star game and that,
Hmm.
home run.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Going back to this class, that there's a guy out there that looks at Ichiro and thinks, nah,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
absolutely
And
insane.
the other thing too is like the people that are like, oh, they don't need to be in the first class. Let them in the second. Who cares when they get
That's
into
so
them?
stupid. So stupid.
Especially you look at it too. Life is so short. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully these people live forever. 80s, 90s, but you don't know. Some could happen. I mean, and you are gonna feel like shit if someone didn't get in. They die and they get in posthumously when they could have got in. When they're
Yeah.
still alive. So if you got a chance to get someone who has no questions that should be a Hall of Famer, what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Just let them
Yeah,
in. Let them
it's
have that enjoyment.
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see other baseball stuff going on. A couple of signings this week. Anthony Santander, 40 plus home run hitter with the Orioles this year, signed with
Yeah.
the Blue Jays. Got himself paid 5 years,
There you
92
go.
million.
It's good money.
And the Braves finally did something. Jerks and Profar signs a
I saw
3 year,
that.
$42 million deal. Good pickup.
Good pickup. Yeah.
As long as we get him from last year and not
Right.
previously. He had
Yeah.
really breakout year last year in his 31-year-old year. So hopefully
And
he
keep that
comes
up.
back. Yeah, hopefully he keeps that up, and that's a good piece to add to that outfield, especially while they wait for Ronald Acuna to come back from his injury
Absolutely.
early in the season. I know a lot of Braves fans would like to see, like me, a pitcher somewhere signed
Yeah.
because,
Right.
um, we got Strider's coming off the injury. We lost Freed and Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
Um, Sales coming off that late season injury, that cost him a spot, pitching in that wild card round. And,
Hmm.
uh, we got a couple guys like Ian Anderson. He's come back from Tommy John surgery a couple years ago. So, you never know. I mean,
Right.
hopefully, yeah, those guys come back.
For sure.
But yeah, I know. Still a couple of, I think, names out there um, that are looking for homes. I'm not sure who, but there's still a couple nines and they had some trades that are still possible before the season starts. But
Right.
Greg, but that's all I have in my notes this week. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, not too much. It's kind of I guess in college, kind of a slow period before we really hit a
Mm-hmm.
storm with spring opening up, and then, we're gonna start getting the spring games and portal opening up, so they'll start jumping there, and it's kind of a lull. Maybe have a bye week before the Super Bowl, and should have some good college basketball. The NBA will start really picking up, so it's kind of I guess, your slower period before everything really starts getting into um, big time mode there. As we get into February with college basketball, and then the NBA will really start picking up after the All Star game. We'll really start getting some big time games. So we're kind of in that slow period right before, not really slow period, but right before we really jump into the key components there, and we get, the Super Bowl and everything. So we're on the cusp of greatness.
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, we will come back next week. We'll look into the Super Bowl. We'll preview that with some more detail and talk about anything else that pops up this
Yeah.
week in the world of sports. Greg, what has been done up real good for you this week?
you know, it's kind of just kind of just a week. Probably the best thing. I was impressed. You know, last night, WWE Saturday Night Main Event. Just as an old school wrestling fan, that's back. Grew up with that on NBC. To have it back there, it was a pretty, for NBC. I mean, it was a pretty fun event there. So I
Was
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch that. Was there any big like title changes or anything? Or
I mean,
I know,
nothing
yeah.
changed hands, but I mean, we got like a Gunter versus Jay Uso match. We got a Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley match, and it was
Mm,
pretty decent there.
I
Um,
know did see some stuff that Jacob Fatu kind of, he's
yeah,
just getting more and more of a star every week.
yeah,
He
he's
beat the
become a
hell out of
star
Braun
every
Strowman.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they beat up everybody who came out of security there. You have Braun Strowman bleeding. So I mean, he's just fun. I'll be just a great character. I don't know if
he
he'll
is,
ever
man.
get
I love it.
a
Yeah.
title or anything, but man, he's just so funny.
Yeah, he's like I'm trying to find like his comparison to us younger, like a guy that maybe, yeah, like you said, not a champ, but a guy that's just always so dangerous. Kind of like,
Name?
honestly, yeah, I was about to say going back to the family tree, Ming or Fatu,
Yeah,
depending on which
yeah,
promotion he was with, but yeah, just a
yeah,
dangerous,
yeah.
dangerous
Just
guy that
I
whoop
mean, Ming
anybody's
really never
ass.
got many title shots or anything, but dude,
Hmm.
you every week you're like, dude, you can just tell he's different.
Yeah,
He's
and
a killer.
yeah. Also,
He could be
if
a
you like
killer in
behind,
real
yeah,
life.
I was about to
Like
say,
in
yeah,
real life.
if you like behind the scenes stories, there's plenty out there
Oh
about
yeah.
Ming. I
Oh
think
yeah,
was
absolutely.
it Andre the Giant. I think said he's the only person that he was afraid of was Ming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Jacob Fatu's on that level. I did see one article too that was talking about Saturday night's main event, and something they wanted to bring back. It's like things they should bring back to kind of get that old
Mhm.
school feel. And one of them was bring back the blue steel cage. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I am
Absolutely.
1,000% down for that. That was like
Oh, for sure.
seared into my brain from my childhood. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then we'll have a Royal Rumble Saturday. So that's always fun.
It is. That's right. Yeah, it's always a Saturday between the conference titles and Super Bowl. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
my favorite event every year, man. Uh,
Yeah.
Even if I'm not watching WWE on a regular basis, man, I
Yeah.
always tune in for the Rumble.
The Rumble. Yeah.
That's the one that I want to go see in person too when it
Dude,
gets near me
it seems like
sometime.
it's so fun.
Oh right, just the counting down, the
Yeah, count down
anticipation,
and
especially
everything.
now where they had the ladies Rumble too.
Dude. And that's one thing. Women's wrestling is really, I mean, it's always been there, but man, just the star power and just
Mhm.
the their technique. I mean, they have the same technique as the dudes these days.
Yeah,
We
no,
grew
for
up with
sure.
like bra and panties matches and stuff like
Nah, yeah,
that,
no.
but I
The
mean, it's a
yeah,
good
the in
time.
ring
But as
product,
far
yeah,
as
the in
in
ring
ring,
product
it's
is just
to a
jumped
different
so high.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, it's real funny getting into that after, like you said, we grew up Attitude Era. I mean, all the divas and the bra and panties matches. It
Hmm.
was there for sex appeal, like 100%.
Of
That was
course.
it. And
Yeah.
a couple of them, like a Trish
Uh,
Stratus, they had talent in the ring,
yeah, for sure.
but they weren't given that opportunity. And then
No.
before that, what do we have, like one women's match every 5 years? It felt like.
Yeah, it wasn't.
The most notable moment was Medusa dropping the WWF title in the trash can on WW or WCW TV.
Yeah.
Nitro. Um, which
Yeah.
what was her name in WWF back then?
Uh, was
Damn,
a
I'd have to think back, but yeah, that was it
yeah.
for us. Yeah,
Yeah, it was so far and few between with women's matches back in the yeah.
yeah, but yeah, seeing that start up again, and that kind of the NXT, really starting it up about almost 10 years ago now. Actually, it was 10 years ago now with
Yeah.
people like Paige and uh, Charlotte Flair
Yeah.
and
And just a
little,
phenomenal,
obviously,
just
yeah.
phenomenal. Just the talent level. They're just real wrestlers. I mean, they have
Mhm.
the same moves that the guys do. I mean, you're not missing much from a women's match. So,
Yeah, and they keep making stars. People like Tiffany
yep.
Stratton. She's a superstar. Just
Yeah.
she's right there on the cusp.
Yep.
I would like to see the return. I'm reading some stuff. They might be on the outs in terms of contract negotiations, or whatever. But we need to get Alexa Bliss back, man.
Yeah. I
Uh,
heard that's not happening, but
yeah.
I
So
read.
hopefully, yeah. Hopefully,
Hoping
maybe
they get
those
that
stories are
figured
like
out.
a.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully those stories are maybe a smokescreen, and she'll have a good surprise comeback at the Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Because it's
definitely
been,
would like to see
I,
it.
it's been I think 2 years. I think her
I
last
think,
match was in the 2023 Rumble,
yeah.
if I read right. But
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely would like to see her come back, and we'll see. They
Yeah.
just signed a, they just signed the thing with TNA where they can
Oh yeah, a little kind
almost
of
there.
a partnership with
Yeah.
TNA. So that's sure we'll see a couple there wrestlers in
Mhm.
the Rumbles again this year.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah.
Um,
Uh, where are we at? Oh, my done up real good this
yeah.
week.
Don't know.
Let's see this week. I'm just gonna say, like he has his moments. I got a 2-year-old and the terrible twos. There are certain moments that it's like, oh man, like he's our little guy. He doesn't like sleeping, man. He does not nap. He does not nap a lot, and it's tough to get him down at night. He goes to sleep when he's tired, and
Yeah. Fall
most
down.
nights it's fine, but some nights you're just like,
Yeah.
man, I
Go to
wish,
bed. Yeah.
yeah, go to bed. Me and your mom want to watch a movie without you.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I don't buy the terrible twos. He's fucking hilarious. Like they are drunk. They are just drunk friends, man.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I laugh my ass off like half the day just watching him do some weird, flipping over into the blanket
Hmm.
basket my wife's got in the living room.
Hmm.
And look over and it's just ass up, legs dangling out, and then he
Yep.
wrestles around, gets up, static all in his
Yep.
hair, and he's laughing. He just thinks it's
Yep.
funny as shit. It's not the terrible twos; it's the hilarious twos. And
Yeah.
of
That's
course,
it. So yeah.
I say that now, and I'm about to be kept up till 3 a.m. tonight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And my
I'll
son
get
was
that.
the same way. Like that dude, he never seemed to sleep.
Mm. He just he
And when they do
you
fall
rare.
asleep, it's just they just because they ran out of energy. They didn't want to go to sleep. They just were done.
That's it, yeah. And that's how naps go these days for us. Like every now and again, now we can get them down at a reasonable hour, but other than that, if he's gonna nap, it's literally like he is running around. It's like 5:30, so you don't
They
want him to
just
nap, and then you look
yeah,
over and he has just climbed up on the couch and gone to sleep. You're like, oh
yeah.
no, 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 no! What are you
No,
doing?
wake up! Your
Yeah,
bedtime's in a couple hours. Get up.
yeah, right. It's like, what are you doing? No, don't do that.
You'll be up by midnight.
Oh yeah, God forbid if we got to drive somewhere around like between 5 and 7 o'clock and
That's
he
the
hasn't napped
worst
that
when they
day,
fall
I'm like, oh
asleep.
no, I'm
When they
like, no,
fall
no,
asleep in the
no.
car, and then
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, good, that was like 10 hours of sleep."
Yeah, right. They take a 5 minute nap and they get recharged for a whole another day.
Oh yeah, they're good
It's
for.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like what, dude?
Yeah.
We only went to your mom or your grandma. Like my wife's mom was right, probably 5 minutes on the road. So like, yeah, we used to go over there and pick up the kid, and the son, he would fall asleep on the way home, and then we were hoping, man, stay asleep. That fool would be up. That's like, dude,
Mhm.
you were asleep for like 3 minutes. Stop
Yeah.
it. Why are you up already?
Go back to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say for the most part, once he does get to sleep at night,
he's
he's
done.
pretty good.
That's good.
He's in this thing right now where he wants to be with us, so he will wake up and
Mm,
pretty much
yeah,
most nights, we get a couple a week where he stays in his own bed, but
yeah,
uh, he'll wake up at some point in the night, come to our bed, and hop in with us and go back to sleep. So it's
yeah,
not even a big thing.
yeah,
Every now and again, he'll have,
yeah. My son
I'll
was.
wait. Yeah, every now and again I'll wake up and my wife will just look tired. I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "Oh, he woke up at 3:30 and was awake till 5:30, and then went back to sleep." I was like, "Oh,
Huh.
damn, well, that sucks."
Yeah,
But
yeah. My son, he probably, yeah, he would do that with us. Like he would probably till about 4. He would always come on our bed. At first, like, dude, go back to your bed. And some
yeah.
after a while, it's like, dude, it's not even worth fighting. Just go to sleep
No,
here.
yeah, it's just like I just got to straighten them out so I can get in
Yeah.
bed and
So, because that's the one thing, these little kids, boy, they sleep wildly.
oh, and you know what? I don't know how it was for you and your wife. I do not get the brunt of that. But he will like headbutt my wife, kick her, climb all over, her, roll over her, and he don't even come near my side. Like he might, when I come to bed, he might be like laying diagonal or something, and I'll just have to
That's
move him
funny.
so I can get in bed.
Yeah.
But he like if I try to cuddle with him, he'll roll over back to
Bro.
her.
Mm,
If she turns around,
that's
faces
fun.
the other way, he rolls up, like climbs on her and
Beats
lays
her
his
up.
head. Yeah, just beats the shit out of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just over there like, don't do that, buddy. Don't do that. But thank you,
That's
thank you.
fun. Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, folks. All right, that does it for us this week. As always, thank you for listening. Check out all the podcasts in the Alabama Take family of podcasts. I saw We Are a Stalwart popped up a new episode this
Nice.
weekend. Do check out the alabamatech.com. You can find all of the podcasts there and some writings and this and that over there. Subscribe, like, rate us, tell your friends, tell your rich friends. Anybody got a business they want to sponsor us, holler at us. We will take that money and
Absolutely.
we'll put in the work. We will get you
Whatever you
advertisement.
need.
Yeah. But yeah, and keep it done up real good yourselves out there, folks. We'll be back next week, like I said, Super Bowl preview, and we'll probably talk some Royal Rumble, honestly, and
Yep.
whatever else, some Bama hoops and whatever else happens in the world of sports.
Absolutely.
So, Greg, buddy, I will see you then.
All right, we'll do it. Sounds good.